All right, here I go. I love Friday streams because I let the pressure off entirely. I mean, I'm not a go kind of streamer anyway, but Fridays just feel a little bit different even. So I hope if you're tuned into this at any point that you're having a good time and that things are going well for you. And if not, at least I hope that this can be a casual video or stream for you to have on in the background while you're doing something or something like that, you know? Whatever, you know? A stream is what it is for different people. I just hope you're okay. I am happy with today's little sketch here. I love doing these things. It's so much fun. But I'm going to move along and get back to the work I was doing before, which was working on my svg-clj project. And I just have to rearrange my desk and rearrange my windows here. Oh, a little YouTube video I'm working on. Here we go. We are back and working on path stuff for SVG, and looks like my stream is going okay. Yeah. Things are looking all right there. All right. Let's see. Okay. Got to plug in my phone. I realize I need to charge it up. 1 second. Beautiful. All right. Well, I left off work on this in the middle of trying to figure out how to handle SVG path strings. And they're a little bit complicated because I have a few different possibilities here. And I slapped together this monstrous function here with a bunch of conditionals, and I don't know a smarter way to do it. I'm almost certain there is a smarter way, but for the time being it classifies segmented bits of a path into different types with either relative or absolute coordinate systems. What I might actually do is change up my approach here even more, and that'll be let's see, I wonder if I can do string lowercase. That just converts a string to its lowercase form. If I do something string split on what did I just do here? I did something wrong there. So let's say string split. Let's imagine this is the string I'm splitting. I want to split on the regex, which is this sort of thing here, but instead of capitals, I want to split only on lowercase alphanumeric characters. Okay. Now, so the length of that list is 1. If I do this, oh, it didn't work. Let's think this through a little bit here. Let's try just this. Okay. The length of that is 2. The length of this is 1. Okay. So I could use that to make a predicate here. Relative, and path segment string is what's coming in there. And what I'm going to do here is create a little bit of logic with this method here. So it's just going to be when equals count of strings slash split the string with the predicate, or pardon me, with the regex a to z. So any lowercase alphanumeric character, I only want to split on that, right? So when the count of that result is equal to, oh, I don't want equal to, actually, I want greater than 1. Actually, I do believe all I need to do is this. Let's see if that makes any sense. So let's def a as this test part here. That's the string. Okay. So I want to run relative on that, and it should be false. So now if I def a instead as L, relative a should be true. Okay. That's looking pretty good. So what I'll do instead here is change this up so I have 2 different functions that are each much smaller, because right now I'm getting 2 things in one here, and that isn't really what I need to do at all. So here I'll just let's see here. True if the path segment string PSS has relative coordinate command, has a relative coordinate command. Relative coordinate commands are lowercase, absolute coordinate commands are uppercase. Good. I don't know what the rule is on, do I manually wrap this or let it wrap itself? I'm gonna let it wrap itself. I think that's fine. Okay, so that's what this predicate does. And then segment data, I can change it up a little bit here. Segment command, right? So yeah. basically I could make this a whole lot easier. So if I do string / uppercase A, it should only affect alphanumeric characters here. So since I have a separate command, or pardon me, a separate function that'll determine if the string is relative or absolute, I can actually just convert everything to uppercase and do the checks on just that. So I can actually take, returns the type of the path segment. Yeah, I'll change this function. Segment segment type returns type, returns the path type, returns the path segments command type. Yeah, actually I like this approach because segment type, because I can do two here. Let's do segment chords returns the path segments coordinate type coordinates key, right? So it's just this if relative PSS, if it is relative you do rel, otherwise you do abs. Not sure if that's necessary, it might be overkill, right? I could just have one key that's just holding true or false, but I think it might be fine. I'm not sure, I can always fix it up, but that should be okay. So here, for all of these things, I can actually eliminate a lot of stuff here. So first of all, I can get rid of any lowercase things because I'm going to handle that a little bit differently. Yeah. Okay. So I'm only going to look for absolute coordinates, all uppercase stuff, because I want to do a little let here. Let SB string, let string be, oh wait a second, SB string slash, it is string, right? Got to pay attention to that. I messed that up here a little bit. Okay. And I do believe, no, looks like we're good there. Maybe just text. No, that's good. Okay, back to this. Here we are. Let S be string slash uppercase, upper dash case, right, of PSS. That's the only transformation I need to do. And then it's guaranteed to include any of these potentially. I need some else situations and I need to add a few more to this, but I'm gonna just clean this up first and then get to that. And then I can start building out a multi-method that handles all the cases appropriately. So that should be nice and clean relative to the old approach I had tried to build. Oops. There we go. Okay, I like that better already, actually. So the other segment types could be M, which is a move to, which is actually really easy to handle. I just put it here and call it move. And Z is going to be the weirdest one, which actually maybe I should put at the end because close. I think that is pretty good. Yeah, I think that's okay. Let's get rid of this. Just try to clean this up just a smidge here. So this is actually, this is just kind of babbling about. These aren't real useful at this point. So segment map, it will have the, call it type. I don't know if that's the smart thing. Actually, here, I'm going to change the terminology a little bit here. So here, path commands, okay? Path command strings. Split the path string into a vector of path command strings. Okay. Right, so these are then commands, which include move and close. Okay, so that's the path command strings. Command coordinate system returns the commands coordinate system key either rel or abs. And then this here would be returns the command string command key. Okay, so this is a command string. Suppose that's okay. Here, I have to change the name of this to the return the command strings coordinate system key. Rel or absolute. So this is CS, command string CS. Yeah. With a period there, it's because there's a sentence. This should be like this instead, actually. Key is either rel or absolute. There we go. Returns the command string CS is key. I'm going to leave that like that. Okay. Therefore, yeah. Okay. So here, now I can make a function called command, which returns from a command string, transforms a command string CS into a closure map. Don't need to write the word closure, into a map. There we go. Okay, so this is simple. It returns a map which contains the key command, which is the result of command key on CS. It returns the chord system command. No, let's do full. Command chord sys. These naming things is sometimes a little annoying, but chord sys key of CS. Okay, so using that now, thinking about what I want to achieve here. Right. Okay. I'm thinking through. So there's the commands, but if I want to make a path segment, right, I need the current command and the previous command to get all of the relevant geometric data for it, right? So a line, for example, a line command only has one coordinate, but I need two coordinates to draw a line. It's implicit in the line command that the previous final position from the previous command is in fact the starting position of that segment. So I always need to combine the two together to make what I'm going to call a path segment, which makes sense in my brain. So here we go, new path implementation, commands. Path strings can have a few. Path strings are built up with a path strings are a sequence of commands. These commands can be thought of as moving a pen along the canvas according to draw shapes and lines according to the command's inputs. The order of these commands must be maintained, otherwise the shape will be drawn differently. I'm going to make a few functions to split paths into commands and put them in a closure map. Okay, that's commands, right? So command keys this, and then I do def and command. Transforms a command string into blah, 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 like I said. So all I need here is these two things. So there's the command and then there's the coordinate system. Those are the only two things that are relevant for a... No, that's not accurate. And then there's data yet, actually. So data would be right. I shouldn't call it data. I should call it command input. Maybe. Or args. Inputs. Good. Input's good. Command, coordinate system, input. Perfect. Okay. I have to now make a little thing that does get the input appropriately, and that's not going to be too hard. It's just going to be actually, what should it be? String to point. Right? If I take string to point of some string called, let's do L1, L1010. Oh, it's wrong. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, it has to actually be the string that is just the values like that. Okay, well, that's not too hard. But let me think about it for a second. Okay, so given a command string, I need to, let's make it a function here, right? Just like I've done with these things. I might as well make it a function. Let's do defin command input command string, excuse me, let I be string slash split on alphanumeric characters, the string, and that'll just be A to Z, A to Z. That's all I need to do on that. So it's I. And then here, now I can just run string to point on I. I'm just wondering if that's actually accurate. Command input L 2020, doesn't matter. Ooh, wrong. Something's wrong. Oh, of course, here I have to, if I do string slash split that string, L 2020, with that A to Z thing, that is not quite what I need. I need to drop the first thing from there. I need to take the last, right? Now I do need to consider for just a moment. Let's use this Q string as an example. Let's do def B is this Q string. Okay, if I do string split, don't know why I'm wasting my time rewriting everything. Let's just do this. B, it splits. Yeah, okay, that is what I want to do here. Right, I can just do this. Apply string to point on rest of I. Let's try that. Ooh, nope. Okay, my function doesn't work the way I thought it did, so I have to fix that. Why would that happen, eh? Oh, of course. I totally didn't think about that. I have to adjust a little bit here. Right, so you can have commas, but you don't need commas. That is the thing that I forgot about. So I have to change this function up here. If I go, I think I put it in utils here. I'm now wondering what the appropriate thing to do here is. I could leave string to point the same way and just change. Oh man, I gotta think about this for a minute. I could split on I wonder if that'll actually work. No. I don't think that's right either. Oh, wow, it actually worked. Will this work? Hey, it does. Okay, so comma or space. Let's call that okay for the time being. That might become a problem. I'm not, I don't know right away actually. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna thread first string to string/trim, then string/split, on comma or space like that, and then map v read string. Oop. Okay, that should work. Okay, that is looking promising. Okay, so using that slight change, this should be pretty easy. So command input, if I do, okay, so I've got B, which is a Q command. It's a little different than everything else, but let me give it a try. I'm realizing, okay, so that does pull everything out into a vector. But that isn't really correct in this case, right? Gotta think it through. Could do I'm wondering if I should already, when I'm compiling the command string, if I should have the input be a map that is relevant to the command in specific. So for example, if it's an input for a line command, it would be X and then the value X and then Y and the value Y. Whereas if it's an arc, it would be, I forget what the, like, it's a bunch of different weird things. It's not I'm having a hard time thinking about the right way to do this. Here's what I'll do. This should be called string to vector instead of string to point. So I'm going to change that here. V to S turns the vector V into a string suitably formatted for use. Turns it into a string formatted for use in SVG attributes. Okay, that is good. Then this here, string to V, turns a string of comma or space separated numbers into a vector. There we go. That makes sense. The naming is not confusing because I can use it to make points, but I can use it to make vectors of arbitrary length as well. That's better because it does more directly convey what I actually want to happen here. And so I just have to make sure I'm calling it correctly. So this is string to V of rest I. Okay. Ooh, right. I have to actually define those or evaluate them in the REPL there. Good. And now I should be able to do this, command input. And command input of some command B. There we go. Okay. So they're using that. I can run command input, get the command, command key. Well, I'm being a little silly here, not finishing my work. Come on, seriously? Where did I? Goofy. There we go. Okay. Again. There it is. Relative. Command string. Command string. Path string. Zoop. Okay, that's all good. The name of that is fine. Path command strings relative. Coordinate system key, command input, command. There we go. Now this is not done. This is actually not going to work at all, but let's try. Run command on B. Oh, oops. There we go. All right. Command, quadratic, coordinate system, rel, input that vector of things. That is a good sign. Okay. I can do it as well on command. Is yeah, command A. Command is a line. It's a relative coordinate system, and the input is 123-40. That is great. So now I can make something that will parse inputs maybe. Maybe I don't have to do that. I'm not sure yet. Let's make a little function here, path string to commands. Okay, and let's just go with it. Okay, let's split this off. So that's the bit of command. That's commands. That's nice. And now I want to start making. Let's get rid of this. Yeah. Okay. So that's commands, and now this is path segments is the start of it anyway. So commands on their own cannot create a path. Path segments cannot create a path. They all implicitly take position data from the previous command. The exception is the move command. That's not entirely accurate, actually. Previous command, where the initial implicit command is always something to the effect of M00. Everything starts at the origin. Okay. The concept of a path segment is my own idea, meant to capture the is my own idea. A path segment can be thought of as a valid path on its own. So a segment map must include all relevant data to completely draw itself. This simply means that any path segment requires two command maps to be properly specified. I don't know how clear that is, but it makes sense in my head right now. I'm sure I'll be able to explain it more clearly once the code's up and written out. But this is going to be useful for being really thorough and clear with what a path actually is, and being able to modify its values and stuff like that, and then being able to recompile it into its new path string. So the reason I need to do that is because the decision I made with transformations is that they're all baked into the properties of any given tag. So a polygon that is rotated is not just a polygon wrapped in a rotation transformation. It is recalculated so that its own points are at new positions. So it's baking any changes into the actual values directly. The reason for that is to keep the output SVG small and pretty easy for a human to kind of scan through quickly. The downside is you do lose on the output side semantic information as to the order of operations that got a piece there. So if you translate and then rotate something, the final coordinates will not give you that history information. So the idea of the library is that if you're writing the code itself can output that final SVG, but the code contains the logic that the user used to create the document. And I think that's a cool way to do it. So that was just a bit of a tangent, I guess, but it means I can now keep moving. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm having a day, you know? I'm actually gonna go to the washroom for a minute, I think. Take a quick breather. I will be right back. let's keep going. This should not be in this segment. It should actually just be at the end here. So this should take a path string and convert it into a list of command maps. Turn a path string, no, turns path string PS into a list of its commands, into a list of its command maps. So all I need to do here is thread last the path string through the function here, path command strings. Which then gets mapped which then has map command over that result. So that should work as is. No? Too many M's. There it is. All right, let's give that a shot for a minute. So if I use a whole path, let's use this. This is a simple path string that makes this parabola, or I'm not sure that it's actually a parabola. It's a quadratic Bezier curve, which is fine for right now. So let's just use that as a rough example. So let's def A as that thing now. Oop, too many. There we go. Right, so this command, this path string to command function should work on A, and it does indeed give me the commands that are present there. I've got a move command. I also have a quadratic command. Now if I redef A for a moment to have Z at the end here to close it, I should get, oop, this is good that I tried that, because Z is the only thing that has a different situation. It has nil, it has no data. So in order for me to properly get that, I do need to have a little when here, I think. Because yeah, let's try that. So when rest I. Okay, I think that'll work. All right, I have to look at this. Let's try string split Z on alphanumeric characters like this. It's empty, so if I do rest of that, it should be nil, right? I see. Not empty. Now that should work for me, right? Yeah, if I could call things properly when not empty. Let's try that. All right, I'm getting sloppy here. This is not helpful. This is not helping me right now. Okay. Hey Biz, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today. There we go. Is that correct now? Let's try it. There we go. Okay. Better, making progress. Nice, glad to hear it. That's good news. Good news indeed. Having a good Friday? Last shot at entrepreneurship? What do you mean? Why is it your last shot? Running out of money? Running out of time? Running out of energy? You had a kid. I mean, that's a pretty big commitment. That changes your life quite a bit, I'm sure. You need stability, yeah. No, that I understand that. Not a bad way to think about it, right? Can be you have to kind of change how you think about your life a little bit, right? And I don't mean that in a good or bad way. It's like it's a neutral thing. Is you got a kid now there's new things going on in your life. Well, that that can be exciting, right? It sounds nice. I'm assuming this is all good news and everything, and then I'm excited for you. Family requires stability. Yeah. No, I completely get that. Yeah, stability is probably an important thing in this modern time. So you're giving it a shot while you can, right? A bit of entrepreneurship. Okay, where was I here? I don't know about you, but on Fridays I'm just looking forward to the weekend, so my brain is like only halfway paying attention to all the work I'm doing. I think I'm the technical authority on mobile order fulfillment in the state of Florida. I mean, that's a pretty good place to be, I'll tell you that much, I think you had been bringing the concept to me before in other streams, kind of about making yourself in some way an expert on something and then using that to your entrepreneurial advantage, right? Almost as a like as a value add, right? A differentiator for yourself and your project and business compared to other people. Yeah, you use Xamarin and Azure. You built a portfolio with that, or is portfolio another? Is portfolio a technology, or do you mean you've built up a portfolio of knowledge with those things? I am clearly not an expert in or a technical authority, as you say, on mobile order fulfillment. Not in the state of Florida, nor anywhere else. Portfolio is the product of a failed project. Oh, okay. One of your projects or some other party? Hey, Thrashton, how's it going? I'm doing well. How are you? Yeah, your passion project. Yeah, Biz. I mean, you got to shoot your shot with those projects sometimes, eh? Succeed or fail, I find there's a lot of value in pushing through. It can be hard if it fails, though. Uh, haven't been on Thrashton, haven't been on the stream in a while. You're doing okay? Well, it's good to see you here. I'm glad you show up from time to time. No pressure on anyone, of course, right? You know, everyone has to live their lives. But I do enjoy that people show up. And I'm glad that you're okay. Yeah, kind of busy? Yeah, what's been up with you? A lot of stuff going on in your life? You even stopped streaming yourself. Well, I can understand that too. It's important to take breaks from that stuff. I was looking for a job. Well, I mean, there you go. It's important to take breaks, especially to handle important things like that. I hope that's going well for you, or has gone well. Especially in these times, you know, it's a stressful time. Also got a bit depressed from sitting at home all the time. Yeah. You know, that makes complete sense too. It's a tough year for that kind of attitude. I've heard a lot of my friends talk about similar kinds of things because it's been a time, you know, to put it very mildly. So it's important that you take care of yourself in those ways. So, you know, there is no possible way that anyone can insult me or make me sad for not showing up on stream. You know what? I'm here, I'm streaming, and it's nice when you're here, and it's nice when you're taking care of yourself, right? So I hope you're kind of on the uptick of things a little bit, but I'm glad to have you here. Biz, you'd like to write a web service in Clojure. Ooh, go for it. I think Clojure is a really nice programming language. I think, Biz, I know you have a strong like of typed languages and all that stuff. So for you, that might be the biggest mental adjustment, right? Yeah, you got that F sharp keenness going on, and that's all great. I'm just saying that Clojure is different, right? So that might be the sticking point for you. I'm sure you'll enjoy it otherwise, though. Thrashton, I'm used to sitting at home for a long time, but not a whole year without a break and no foreseeable end. Man, that really, I've said it to my brother before, and it's a little hyperbolic, but it's like, you know, if we could with 100% certainty say, yeah, this is going to be 3 years where we have to do this, and then after that, 100% guaranteed everything is done and we can all run outside and hug each other and everything. Like, 3 years is a long time, but the knowledge of when it will end makes a huge difference in how you can process it in your mind, right? So yeah, it's tough going. The hardest is a whole year stuck at home with other people. I understand that too. So I have the luxury of living on my own currently. I say luxury, but I'll be the first to say it gets lonely as well. So there's that balancing act, right? But I think I would have gone more insane if I was sharing this space with a few different people. So, you know, I think in general, I try to adopt the attitude of hoping the best for people and understanding that no matter the circumstances, it can be tough for people, you know, people living alone, people living with other people. It's not always easy, and it's okay that it's not easy, right? I just, you know, it's a tough time, right? We're all humans. We all feel these things. Thrashton, I'm only stuck at home with my girlfriend after this year. 2 weeks ago, she's my wife. Oh man, congratulations. That's great. It's a luxury. I'm used to being a bachelor. Yeah, you know, having a place to yourself is certainly the best. You can kind of, like, you don't need, you could just set it up exactly as you want, and I do totally love that. I guess I have that going for me. Yeah, you know, Commander Thrashton, it's not, there's a little positives, right? So when people talk about feelings of depression and stuff like that, this is not specific to you. I always remember, because I can 100% relate to this myself. It's actually not that helpful to say, oh, but there are positive things either. So I try not to really frame things that way, because a person who's feeling depressed can understand that there are still positive things, but that doesn't change the feeling, right? And it's more, got a call hopping off. Hey, Biz, have a good one, okay? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Right. It's not like someone is feeling depressed because they don't notice that there are good things. It's something different than that, right? And just saying, oh, but what about all the good things, it just ends up not feeling like it connects with the emotion. So, you've got that going for you, Thrashton, but that's not to undermine at all the real feelings of being depressed and down for being cooped up. So take care of yourself is the moral of this whole story. But I'm glad you're tuned in. I am super glad. This year, if I can manage it, I want to grow the channel and, get things ramped up a little bit more. So I'm excited. I'm always excited when people are in the chat, Yeah, I sort of woke up. Probably going to stream again. Hey, go for it. Started coding. Yeah, that's nice. Sometimes it just takes time, You can't force yourself to be to be different than you are in an instant. It takes time. And if you woke up and you're going to do streaming and coding, I'm excited for you. That's great. I mean, obviously I'm a little biased. I like streaming and I obviously like coding as well. It can be a lot of fun though. I am trying to remember what I was thinking about. Thrashin, can you remind me what language do you tend to write in? I can't recall. Sorry if you've mentioned it before and I just forget. There are some details fly out of my head sometimes. Common Lisp. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah, well, now I remember it was you're excited to kind of share the knowledge of Common Lisp, kind of spread the like almost evangelize for it, right? Well, if you're streaming again with that, that's a great way to start doing it. One day I'll sit down and learn Common Lisp, but it'll be after I, release a few projects with Clojure and stuff like that. I do care about the language. Oh yeah, for sure. Some people say Clojure's a modern Lisp, but but ... You prefer Common Lisp, right? It's not in the direction you want it. So, I mean, it's very obvious that I use and love Clojure, so you much prefer Common Lisp. And, of course, right, no problem. A language I like and a language you like, everyone can like whatever language they want. But it is interesting to hear some people say that. You'd like it to go more low level. Ah, okay. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you're going more high level. Yeah, you might be right with that. I can kind of see that. Is it, and now correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of wonder if Clojure was built in such a way that you could compile it to C and then C to a native binary or something like that. If it was built not on the JVM but instead on something like C, would that be kind of trending toward what you're thinking of, or am I off base with that? But I do agree. CL just compiles to native code right away. Yeah. I'd want to have things like memory allocation, you know, pointers, no garbage collector. I see. I gotcha. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, then it's almost certain that Clojure's not the language for you, right? And that's totally fine. I'm gonna tell you about this thing. I'm not at all suggesting this is worth looking into. It's not complete enough. But there's someone who made this project called Ferret Language. The biggest CL compiler is some of this intrinsically. Which one's the biggest? Is it Steelbank Common Lisp, or is it another one? This Ferret language compiles Clojure forms, SBCL, yeah, okay, cool. Ferret lang compiles Clojure forms into C++, and then you can compile that down to a binary. So it's like, it doesn't have a garbage collector or anything like that. You'd want it to be in the standard and more thought out. Yeah, I get that. I'm only pointing out this Ferret language as an interest. I've tried to use it before. The creator uses it basically to write. It's clear their use cases for like Arduino projects and stuff like that. Oh, you know about Ferret? Okay, cool. I thought it was neat. It's fun to use, but it's not for me, or it won't scratch the itch that you're talking about, right? You know about most Lisp-like languages. None's low level enough so far. So like, is Common Lisp low level enough for you, or not popular enough? Ah, okay. Yeah, see, the Lisp popularity thing is always going to be a bit of a trick, I'm sure. Because there's a lot of them, right? SBCL is the perfect combo so far, but it could be better, is what I'm hearing you. That's what I'm hearing from you. That's a good thing, though. Room for improvement is always okay. What have I just done here? I don't need... Okay, whatever. Let's try to write another function for a minute. The low enough level would be something around C with Lisp syntax and without any historical C garbage. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I feel like the only way I'll really dive really deep into learning C is if I could use a Lisp to compile C code myself. But then I realized, well, wait a second, I should just use Common Lisp or something instead. But yeah, I get it. Well, I don't know if you're a language designer or anything yourself, but you know, when a feature doesn't exist, right? You know, get your hands dirty and start hacking it yourself. Doing something without the Lisp macro system feels stupid. Yeah. The macro system is super powerful, right? It basically lets you create a language in a language already. It's just nice to have. Why would I do it with the dumb algol syntax? You could do it with the parens. Paren after paren after paren. You know, the parens can look really goofy sometimes when you go super crazy with it, but I do love them. Lisp syntax is my favorite syntax for sure. All right, let's see what I can do here. Right, I was trying to think about how to go make a path segment map, which is different than a command map here. So what's the right thing to do? What is the right thing to do? distracted today. You know, being distracted on a Friday, though, is kind of okay. I'm really just making excuses, but so it goes. Why isn't Racket popular as a Lisp? I have no idea, Biz, to be completely honest. Because you're actually right. Racket is a pretty cool one of them. What do you mean, which Lisp? Whoops, not. Oh, I see what you mean. Clojure takes different niche. Racket does too, I guess. Yeah, the weird thing about Lisps is, like, if you don't know them, right, if you haven't learned any of them, and this was true for me before I taught myself Clojure, they all look exactly the same, but then people insist that they're different, and it's very confusing until you kind of dive into them, right? See, the thing thrashed in about CL being for industry, while Racket's more for learning, that's I would imagine that's more perception than reality. And you know what I mean? It's like, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels to me as if you could use Racket in industry. It's just that for whatever reason, it became more popular in academic areas, and so people just associate the two differently, even though either one could be used in either context. I don't know. But Biz, yeah, I don't know a real answer to that either. It's an interesting question, though. You know, in general, why does a language get popular versus another one, right? Because it's not about tooling. Racket's 10 times slower, has some tools for doing things that nobody in the industry needs, while not having some that seem more industrial. I could be. It really could be. I am not a language expert, right? So these opinions and thoughts are my own and unproven. Take it with a hefty grain of salt. Okay, so I want to make a little thing called Parse Input, I guess. Might want to, I don't know, geez, going all over the place here. Parses a command's input into a map of values. Oop. So thrashed in, the thing about the speed of Common Lisp versus the speed of Racket is arguably, like, you could have slower Common Lisp if you're using something that's not Steelbank Common Lisp, right? Like the compiler or image, whatever you want to call it, that you use changes it, right? So in theory, I'm speaking only theoretically here, using speed, even with that, it's still slower, just not 10 times slower. Okay. I guess my point is you could have a fast Racket compiler. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about here is like what comes first, a fast compiler or popularity, thus leading people to want to make a faster compiler, right? Like it's not clear which one must come first, but I don't know. It also it kind of doesn't matter too much if I could be so blunt about it. Like that Common Lisp is faster and used in industry is great. That Racket is slower but is used in learning is also great, you know? But Racket's about building language extensions, yeah. You don't need it that much in industry. Mm-hmm. Well, and ultimately that's kind of the thing too is, you know, you gotta, programming languages are tools and you don't need to use the same tools for everything, right? It's okay to use this here and a different tool somewhere else. That's what the community thinks Racket's about. And Objective-C. What about Objective-C, Biz? I want to do keys, input, I think that works. Let's see if that actually does what I think it does. You would be excited about Racket, but they lack low-level tools. You can build extensions all day, but you can't build efficient ones. Oh, and Biz, Objective-C is hard to work with, but is mainstream. Oh, right. Like I was half saying earlier, language popularity is not centered purely around it being the best. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, what's a good call here? Let's run this and let's def B as first of that. Okay, B, there we go. So if I parse input of B, okay, it does destructure the way I want it to. That's good. Okay, so what I need to do is actually this is not quite correct. I think I might need to do a def multi here. Mullet, that's not right, multi. Let's see. Oh man, I love def multis and they're really useful, but I always forget the the initial setup of them. Parse command input. There, and well, let's just go over here. Clojure def multi. My brain has too much other stuff in it. It's clogging up the mental pipes. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, I should have. It's already open here. Well, this is fine. Okay, def multi. I think I actually just can do this. Since I know the command input's always going to be this map here, I'm supposed to specify a function that is used to determine the dispatch, but I can actually just use the key. So the key is always going to be command, because the different commands for SVG path data have different input possibilities. So if I pull the command in, does that make sense? I think it'll work. We'll find out soon enough. And then this is now def method, parse command input, and it'll be, I'm going to try this for command move to start with. And then I can get rid of this. And here, will it actually work? Let me just see if I'm thinking about it correctly. Parse command input for B. Okay. Looks like it's all working the way I want it to. Okay, so in this case here, I shouldn't need, let me see if this actually will work here. It looks like it still will. I only need the coordinate system and the input in this case. And in fact, I don't even need the coordinate system. I only need the input, because it's a multi-method, so it's already dispatched properly on the command, which, by the way, is SVG path. These are all the commands I'm thinking about here. Move to, line to, horizontal line, vertical line, blah, 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 blah. That's where those are coming from. So all I need to do is just specify the required output in this case. So I know that for a move command, the input is always going to be well, I may as well do it in a let. It's going to be of length 2, and it's going to be an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So I could just create a let xy be the input, and then return to me x, x, y, y as a map, and that should work the way I want it to. So if I parse command there, I get the map x and y. Cool. And it's also the case that line will similarly have that. It's going to be exactly the same. Ooh, should I I wonder if there is a slightly smarter way to do this. I think it's okay though. The thing I'm just thinking of is that I could, no, I think this is fine. This will work okay. So let's just figure out all the rest of these for now. So we've got move, line, h line. So horizontal line will only have a single value. It'll just be x, which I can make even easier here. X oh no, I'm gonna keep this consistent a little bit here. That's the horizontal line, and the vertical line is the same idea for y. Come on. Wait a second, am I thinking about that properly? Yes, I am. Y curve 2. Now, here is where we get into things that are a little more interesting. Okay. SVG Path Curve. I don't remember exactly there's some rules to this one, and I don't remember them off the top of my head here. See if I can find anything. This is not... Okay, this is helpful. This is what I want. X1, Y1 is the control point at the beginning of the curve. X2, Y2 is the control point at the end of the curve. And X and Y is the end point for the curve. So, oh, that's right. So mathematically, the curve command creates a cubic Bezier curve. So a cubic Bezier curve is made with four points in total. So there's the start point of the curve, the end point of the curve, and two control points. And the commands implicitly say, so the reason there's only 3 points here is because the starting point is implicitly taken from the command prior to this. So that's why you only see 3 here. But I do now know what I need to put in here. So I am going to change the name of them a little bit to if I do, this is a tangential thought in my head for a minute. Okay, so I can quickly get the values. I can get a point. Yeah, we're good. That's fine. Okay, here, let's do CX1 CY1. So there's always going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 data points for every that makes sense. Okay, so control point 1, CX2, CY2, end point. Is that the I just don't know if that's the smartest way to do it, but actually wait, it's fine. I'm putting it all on a map. It'll be okay. Okay, CX1, CY, oop. I lost track of myself here. CX2, CY2 is CY2, and X, and X, and Y, and Y. Let's make this a little more readable here. There we go. Oh, what did I miss? Oops. I don't know why I just typoed it. There we go. Okay. That's a curve. Next, smooth curve is not the same, but I'm starting it the same. Smooth curve is Q, right? Quadratic, no, smooth curve is S. Did I have that in here? S, yeah, okay. Right, so curve and smooth curve, they're two different ways, but mathematically they're equivalent. They're just cubic Bezier curves. And then Q and T, so is a quadratic Bezier curve and a smooth quadratic. So in theory, you can make the same mathematical backing for all of these and just parameterize a cubic Bezier and a quadratic Bezier. The difference between them is the number of control points, which means the number of partial polynomial equations that make up the shape of the curve are different. Right? So a cubic one has fewer polynomials and a quadratic has more polynomials. And I'm not going to get into the details of it because I can't explain it that clearly yet. I'm not an expert yet. But I know enough to know that they're kind of the same but kind of different. But you can make a general implementation and go up to some nth quadratic. But that's neither here nor there. And then arc is its own thing too. So let's finish smooth curve. Let's get that here. Curve commands. Let's look at the S version of this. S. A shortcut S to match the curve that was using relative coordinates. You can see the point where the two curves connect is much smoother. Okay, so S pretty much must follow a C curve, I guess. And it has, you only have to specify the second control point and the end point like this, which means these disappear. Okay, I think that is correct. So that now is done. Let's do some quadratic curves. Okay, so the quadratic Bezier command, more complicated. It's the opposite. Okay, it only requires a single control point. Maybe I've been talking about these in the reverse order. Maybe I messed something up in how I was thinking about this. Oops. It has only a single control point. Huh. All right, well, let's cx, cy, and x and y, right? That's that. And then smooth quadratic presumably has only a single point, which would be just its end points, right? Right, so t, yep, that's what I thought. It's just an endpoint. Everything else is calculated. And the last thing is arcs, which have the most complicated structure. Oh, I will also have to do, well, let's finish arc and then we'll do the Z, which is close, which has no input, which is just nil. Yeah. And yeah, I'll just do that for completeness. May as well do it right now because I already know it. Close. Don't even need a let. It's just straight up nil. There we go. And I think that's gonna be fine. All right, the arc has a bunch of weird things on it here, so let's add them in. Those are all the things. Let's add them in. We've got Rx, Ry, X rotation, large arc flag, sweep flag, XY. Those don't make sense. I mean, I know what they are because I've done this before, but they are still confusing. Rx, Ry, X rotation, large arc flag, sweep flag, and then X and Y. Which I should call end X and Y like this. Radius X, radius Y makes sense. The degrees to rotate the X axis. Right, and then the flags change which the two flags will change. There's the way the arc thing works is it draws two full ellipses and there's four possible curves within those structures, and then there's two flags with two states, which means there's four possible options. So the combination of those will basically select one of those curves. That's what's happening. It's confusing, but that's what's going on. So that is the arc parse there. That all looks good to me. I hope. Let's try to run that whole bit there. Okay, so they all exist now. Oops. There we go. I'm gonna take a break and go to the washroom for a minute. I won't be long. got about half an hour of code left in me for the day. Then I'm gonna get going. Got my workout to do yet, you know. On that grind. All right. Where was I with this? Should I test it? It's probably a good idea to test it. Tests and doc strings are part of the deal with actually making this library, you know, releasable. So to build tests is necessary. To build tests on stream is probably a good idea. But is it what I want to do? It is not. It's totally not. But I need to. So, I parsed command inputs, realizing that this is, again, not the right section for it. And parsing might not be the right word to describe this, but it's the only one I could think of. So it's just going to be fine. The commands have different meanings to their inputs. So it's useful to have a method that properly creates a map of the inputs. The method will dispatch on the command key, which is exactly what's happening here. Straightforward. So then path segments. Now here I can get into this real deal. Begin source Clojure, tangle it to source main.cljc, right? Oh, source slash svg-clj, right? That's, yeah. Okay, now I can build a path segment map. And it will have So path segment requires two things: previous and current p command, current command. Creates a path segment map from previous command map and current command map cc. Okay, good. And this will work in what way? I'm realizing that it might be beneficial here we go. I'm gonna, in every case, x and y are the end points. So I don't really need to do ex, ey. I can just do x, y. And every single map will have it. Ooh. There is a problem. There is one problem. If I have a bunch of H commands in a row, I can't actually do this. I need to convert all H and V commands into L commands in order for this to actually work. So I need a I'll handle that later. I'm going to assume that in order for this to work always, I need to convert all H line, V line commands into L line commands so that both X and Y are known. So I do need a convert right, so with this one I can do same thing here, and I'll get to that in a moment. Well, I'm hopping around a little bit because my brain is hopping around, but this one here, I'll assume I can give the previous command is either going to be an M or an L or something. So what I can do is guaranteed so guaranteed I can get X and Y from these. Oh, this is why I shouldn't be hopping around so much. I got to get rid of this to make them consistent. This is apparently how my brain works a lot of the time. I don't know that it's always a good thing. I end up missing little changes. That's why I think it might be a bad habit sometimes. Okay. Good. No, I need to build them all. There we go. Okay. I don't know if that's correct, if that'll actually work the way I think it will. Oh, this is also not done yet. Okay, let keys X, Y, B. Oh, I have to do it this way. Keys X, Y coming from the map, which is parse command input of PC, previous command. Oh. And here I do thinking. I'm just trying to think through this in a way that actually makes sense here. Okay, so the command H line will have literally an input with only one value. Parse command input there, keys X and Y. So if it's, well, the previous command has to be L or M, so it's going to have both of those. This next one is going to be let's just let CC inputs, we'll just do this and we'll kind of print it out and figure it out from there. Parse command input of current command. Okay, so I want to just make a little thing here, XY and CCI, and try to figure this one out. So if I def A is going to be this vector of two maps. The first map is going to be command move, and I'll just do chord sys abs input 100 100. Okay, so that's a command, and this one is command H line chord sys absolute input 100, no, 200. Okay, that's A. Good. Now convert blah 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 blah. Oops. I defined A with a typo in it. There we go. Now try it. Okay, so X and Y from the first part are exactly as I had there, 100, 100. That's good. And then parse command this gives me just X. So with those bits of data, what I actually want to do is produce a final map that looks like this. It needs to look like command, which is command from the current command, does absolute and relative make a difference? I don't remember. This I'll have to figure out a little bit later here. Oh, wait a second. I can just change this. I'll just do assoc into here. If I have a map A with the value 1, if I assoc into a map into A, some new value, okay, good. Assoc into CC, into the input, this new map, which is merge. Y. Merge that map with CCI. Okay, let's see if this works the way I expect it to. Okay, that looks good to me. I think I might be wrong or have to change how I think about absolute relative, but this is a start that will work okay. And oh, I do have to change the command here from hline to just line now. Yeah. And let's do this here. Let's do thread first CC to this assoc. Take CC out of there. Assoc input with that whole thing. But actually before that, it's assoc into command line, because it is now a line. Okay, I think that's okay for the time being. And the next thing to do is this a little bit here, which is basically, I'm going to assume that everything correctly has an XY here, and basically this can be the same kind of approach. So parse the command input from the previous command so that I pull its XY. Then parse the command input of the current command. I don't have to assoc anything new here because the command is the command, because any hline, vlines will be converted to lines, so that's fine. So all I have to do then is, actually I do want to make a new map structure here. I don't want to do any of this. This is now different. Okay. Using all of this information, I can make a new map that has command, which is command from CCI. No, from current command. It has chord system. Can you alias the keys? I don't know if this is a valid thing. I don't think it is. Yeah, no. It's not. Clojure, keyword destructuring. Not sure if there's an approach that actually works, but let's see. Destructuring. Getting close to the end of my stream for the day. That's okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm just trying to do this cleanly. Problem with relative is relative to what is still a concern, so that will have to be, that will become important. Oh, no, at this point, this is also wrong. this can be fine. I can do this. That's okay. The type of path segment is the command. The coordinate system is the coordinate system of the current command. The starting x position is x. Starting y is y. Oop. Then everything from parse command input has to be plunked in there. So I can just do that with merge. Oops. Merge that map with CCI. Let's see if that makes sense. Okay, so path segment A. It makes the type, of course I already have a slight mistake here. Let's def A differently. Now. This has to also be map v, no, into vector vals of this thing so that it becomes, oops, right, so convert yeah. B is this command, and then C, def C is going to be this at 500, 500, and then def A is now B and C. So A is this thing. Okay, path segment A. Did it work? I've got a line, coordinate system is absolute. I've got SX, SY is 200, 100, XY is 500, 500. Okay. All right, this is not complete, but that is the work I can get done for now on stream. I have other things I need to get to and a weekend to start having. So anyone who's tuned in at all, either during the stream or on Twitch after, like on a VOD, or on YouTube after, thank you so much. I always appreciate that. Feel free to leave comments, follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I am trying to grow the channel and build up the content, improve it, and all that kind of stuff for this year. That's a goal of mine. So if you want to participate in that by commenting and that sort of thing, please do so. It would help me quite a bit. If you don't want to do any of that, I understand, and I hope you have a good day. And for everyone, I hope you have a good day or night or whatever you're having. That's all from me. Have a good one. I'll see you later.